progresses.
Again, a lot of the teams starting slow, you kind of worry, but in this league, as proven with Chicago, you can start really slow and still come back and make some great things happen. So not time to abandon everything, you Arizona fans, just yet. All right, moving on to the shellacking of the week. Dallas Desperados take a trip to the home of the corporate offices of the AFL and take on the New York Dragons. And wow, what a beating the New York Dragons took. And again, I don't know if it was Dallas was that good or New York is that bad. Nonetheless, Clint Dolezel put on a clinic. I think every AFL quarterback should just watch that game and take notes because that was picture perfect. Marcus Nash feeling right at home, catching 2 TDs and a bunch of other great grabs. On the other side of the ball for New York, Leon Murray did not look good at all. People wondering, hey, what happened to him during the offseason? They had to have the backup come in. Rohan, I believe his first name was, through the TD to save the embarrassment of the shutout. As a New York Dragons fan, not a way you want to start the season, T-Coz.
I think Dallas is definitely cream of the crop, and they should be a team right there, just like last year, competing for the title. And I think New York's going to have to fight if they're going to want to get into the playoffs. But you could just tell preparation. It's a hard thing to do in arena football because you don't have a preseason, but some teams do it a lot better than others, and Dallas looked way more prepared. And, yeah, I mean, we nearly had a shutout here, which is a debacle. I mean, I think there's been 2 in the history of all of the game, and Dallas was about that close to making that happen. But I think New York's really got to go back to the drawing board, and I think they're going to have a real tough time bouncing back from a loss like this.
Okay, moving on to probably the biggest game of the year, my Grand Rapids Rampage. Yes, we'll admit the bias right here. Grand Rapids Rampage, take a trip down to Colorado. And if you were a Rampage fan at all last year, you pretty much chalked this one up as a loss already. But lo and behold, the Rampage pull it off in hostile territory, something they couldn't do all last year, not winning one road game. But the Colorado Crush, who would have thought the Rampage would have handed them their first loss? Could it be the new uniforms? Could it be the 10-year anniversary? I don't know. They even did it with their backup quarterback as Salisbury went down, and Matt Salk stepped in to finish it off. And again, Sparky McEwen was quoted saying this was probably the biggest game of his tenure in Grand Rapids, and they have got to be excited about that going back home. Beating the Crush 44-42. Dutton and Harrell still looked good. I don't think it necessarily was a bad play by the Crush. It just the Rampage was just too much for them, and this was their night, definitely, T-Coz.
And this was definitely your upset special of the week. I know that's your team, Money. And they played really well. And the funny thing about it, actually an injury turned out to be a blessing in disguise, I think, for them. I think when Salisbury actually went down with the injury and Matt Salk coming in, I've got a lot of faith in this guy, Matt Salk. You know, he was in Los Angeles for a while, and he's been playing the backup role, and a real renowned AF2 quarterback that had a lot of success there in the AF2. I think if they allow him to take this team over, the Rampage have a good group of players, and I was especially surprised by another former LA player, Jerome Riley. He had an interception for a touchdown and then scored a couple in the air offensively. So the Rampage, a budding team that could definitely make some noise, and I'll give you respect this year, I think, with those Rampage.
All right, T-Coz finally giving me respect early. I think that might have to do with T-Coz's pay raise that he got for this year. Okay, moving on. Austin Wranglers and the Las Vegas Gladiators. Las Vegas take a trip to Austin and Deion Sanders land and come up looking pretty much where they were last year. Although I will give Las Vegas Gladiators credit. Again, Las Vegas 36, Austin 57. It wasn't as bad. Of course, this is the battle. Again, if they couldn't write this better, the battle of the 2 new head coaches. Also, Las Vegas stepping in with Sean King as quarterback. And again, Coach Bardo really needs to work with Sean there. He still has a lot of, obviously, some NFL skills, but they didn't translate well to the small arena. And again, Sean's one of those guys that could watch Clint Dolezel's video and definitely take some notes. But again, saw the typical typical characteristic losing their cool there with the Gladiators. A key penalty there right before the half kept the drive alive for Austin. It was just, again, more of the same. So Bardo needs to keep his guys disciplined. Other side of the ball, Adrian McPherson did not look that great, although for the time he spent off away from Arena, again, there's still some quarterbacks around that could look at that tape and go, wow, he did all that after not playing for a while. So, again, I will tell you, though, the head coach, Partlow, obviously the coordinator there from Colorado Crush, he had some great plays, and he didn't hold anything back. You would figure, okay, McPherson hasn't been around for a while. I'll kind of keep it conservative. But, no, he had everything out there, and it was fabulous. So I think the player of the game for that game, the reason that was won was definitely the coaching calls and his plays that he put in there, because both sides of the ball, the players were still a little rusty. But again, Austin coming out on top with a big home victory, T-Cos.
Yeah, I think you're right. I saw a couple formations there where Austin came out in field goal and actually faked it and went and rushed. They did it on 2 or 3 different occasions. So this team was definitely ready to pull out all their cards against a Las Vegas team that's in a transitional period. I think it's going to take a couple games before Sean King actually gets comfortable. But if I was Austin, I wouldn't take too much into this victory, because I think Vegas is definitely going to be one of those teams that's rebuilding this year and a bottom-tier team.
Well, again, I know the Vegas owner, was serious about bringing the franchise up, bringing to winning. They changed arenas this year, now in the Orleans, which is a fantastic venue. And they were able to grab Atu Moulton as Chicago let him go, and he proved that he's still the Warrior, taking some great hits. But I have to agree with you, T-Cos. Vegas, again, is in a rebuilding process, and not sure how long that's going to take. Okay, moving on. San Jose SaberCats take a trip to the Los Angeles Avengers to visit the Staples Center, a game that I was at firsthand, got to witness. LA falling apart at the end, a big disappointment. And yes, folks, I will give it to you right now. I am a jaded Avengers fan as the San Jose SaberCats win it 65-58. I counted 7 tries they had to win it in the final seconds, with penalties and everything else going back and forth. 7 times they had shots in the end zone, could not pull off the tie or the win. Although Sonny Cumbie found a great Jackson in Los Angeles. Not Chris Jackson, as you Avenger fans remember, but Lindsey Jackson looked sharp. And definitely, I saw some more improvement in Sonny Cumbie, which is good. However, I still saw some of the same old Avengers sputtering at times. Again, defensively, still having some breakdowns. And I'll tell you who looked like $1 million was Mark Grebe. Again, him and Clint, you can tell these veterans have been there, done that. He was razor sharp. And of course, with a target like Ben Nelson, you got to be happy. Ben grabbing 4 TDs and made the Avengers defense maybe want to think about some things. But nonetheless, I think Avengers can learn from this. And again, it's kind of funny with San Jose. They haven't met the last couple years, again, still going deep in the playoffs, but haven't been known to win their opener. And this is the first opener that Ed Hotchkiss has lost in his tenure. And maybe the reversal there could bring things around come the postseason, because as we know, Ed Hotchkiss is still looking for that first postseason win. But again, I'm not going to panic. I saw some things I did like at the Staples Center. So next month, when they come back home, we'll see if they can win one for us. T-Cos, what do you think?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. Coach put it, bluntly at the end of the game. He was really disappointed with the special teams play, and I think onside kicks really decided this game. Of course, the Avengers opened with one, and then San Jose, of course, successful with one early into the third quarter that gave them that 2-touchdown lead. So the Avengers continuously had to dig themselves out of a hole. I think positive things. Sonny Cumbie looked great with his 7 touchdowns, and I think Lindsey Jackson is going to be a great go-to guy for him. It's just San Jose's side, it's a team that comes in and year out and is just so good and is always the team to beat in the Western Division, and it looks like they're going to be that again. But from what I saw, they look beatable, and I think there's going to be teams in the West that can give them a problem, and there'll be a real fight for the division crown.
Absolutely. I think San Jose is one of those teams where you have to play them good all 4 quarters and you can win. But if you make some mental mistakes and give them a little edge, they're going to get you every time. All right, last game of the week.